Dr. Michael Harrison froze, his pen suspended above the prescription pad, as Frank Thompson, a 68-year-old Vietnam veteran, tugged off his worn leather boot in the VA clinic's examination room in Columbus, Ohio. A sweet, putrid stench filled the sterile air, thick enough to choke. The doctor's face, weathered by 30 years of practice, drained of color, his eyes widening at the horror before him. What should have been a routine diabetic foot check revealed a nightmare. A festering, blackened wound consuming half of Frank's foot. Nurse Linda Chen's clipboard crashed to the linoleum, her gasp drowned by Sarah Thompson's stifled scream. Frank's 16-year-old grandson, Tyler, gripped the wheelchair's armrest, knuckles bone white. For 6 months, Frank had dismissed this little sore spot, his stubborn pride, a relic of surviving Vietnam, now threatening to unravel his family. Code blue, examination room 3. Dr. Harrison's voice cracked over the intercom. Emergency surgical consult, now. What had Frank hidden beneath those blood-soaked socks? How much time did they have to save him? Share your thoughts. What health issue have you ignored too long? Frank Thompson's life in Millbrook, Ohio, was as unyielding as the red brick ranch house on Maple Street, where he'd lived for 42 years. At 68, the Vietnam veteran carried himself with soldier's rigid posture, his gray hair cropped short, his eyes carrying the weight of loss. 3 years ago, cancer claimed his wife, Margaret, leaving her coffee mug untouched in the cabinet, her reading glasses on the nightstand and her voice in his head. Frank, your pride will be the death of you. His routine was military precise. Coffee at 0600, tending Margaret's rose garden with devotion, and deflecting worried calls from his daughter Sarah, a 42-year-old nurse, and son Michael Jr., a tech executive in California. The Thompson family motto, "We don't quit and we don't complain," had carried Frank through rice paddies in 72, 35 years on Millbrook Manufacturing's factory floor, and Margaret's 18-month battle with ovarian cancer. But it couldn't stretch his finances. Social Security and a small VA disability check barely covered the mortgage and utilities. Diabetes, diagnosed a decade ago, demanded $300 monthly for insulin. Money Frank funneled his grandson Tyler's college fund, skipping doses to manage a loan, believing his willpower could outlast any illness. It began in late September, a dime-sized dark spot on the sole of his right foot, noticed while pulling on thick white cotton socks, relics of his factory days. Frank dismissed it as a callus from old steel-toed boots, too trivial for a man who'd survived shrapnel wounds. Margaret would have insisted on a doctor, but without her, he relied on drugstore foot cream and stubborn denial. By October, the spot darkened to an inky black, spreading like a stain across his sole, its edges irregular, almost mocking the Vietnam map tattooed on his shoulder. Epsom salt soaks turned the bathwater murky. Antifungal creams irritated the skin. Margaret's old pumice stone drew blood. Pain crept in, a dull throb by November, keeping him awake, forcing him to skip walks to the corner store or tending the garden. Tyler, 16 and sharp-eyed, noticed during a weekend visit. "Grandpa, you're walking funny." Frank waved it off. "Oh, war injury, kid. Cold weather." But Sarah, with 15 years of nursing experience, caught the grimaces, the fatigue, and a faint, sickly sweet smell trailing him. Laundry revealed blood-flecked socks, hinting at something far worse than a callus. What was Frank hiding from his family? Why wouldn't he let them in? Have you ever ignored a symptom because admitting it felt like defeat? By December, the sore was a deep, oozing wound, black and irregular, soaking Frank's socks with blood and pus. The sweet, rotting stench grew undeniable, seeping through his house despite air fresheners and candles. Sarah's nursing instinct screamed when she found socks in the laundry, stained red and brown, the rubber soles of his slippers crusted. "Dad, you're bleeding through your shoes," she confronted, holding up the evidence on a chilly January morning. Frank's deflection was pure Thompson. "I bled before Sarah. Survived worse." But his voice faltered, and the smell, now sickeningly potent, betrayed him. He stormed out, driving aimlessly through Millbrook's snow-dusted streets, windows down in the January cold, trying to outrun his daughter's worry and his own fear. Tyler's blunt question during a February visit, "Grandpa, what's that smell?" shattered Frank's denial. He couldn't lie to the boy who saw through him, the spitting image of himself at 16. The turning point came on a humid Tuesday in late February. Frank, pushing his old lawnmower to keep Margaret's yard respectable, felt his legs buckle. He collapsed into the half-cut grass, the mower puttering beside him, his breath shallow and ragged. Mrs. Patterson, his 73-year-old neighbor, watched from her kitchen window, her arthritic fingers dialing Sarah's number. Your daddy just fell in his yard. He's conscious, but something ain't right. Sarah, mid-shift at Millbrook General, broke every speed limit to reach Maple Street. She found Frank on his front steps, pale and diminished, his right foot held off the ground, pain etching his face. The smell was overwhelming now, a sickly cloud. "Dad, what happened?" she asked, checking his pulse. "Just dizzy." "Too much sun," he muttered, but his trembling hands told another story. Tyler arrived, skipping school, and the confrontation erupted. Sarah argued with medical urgency. "You're not fine, Dad." Tyler spoke from love. "Grandpa, you're scaring us. This isn't about being tough. It's about staying alive." Frank roared back. "I'd rather die in my house than be an invalid." But Tyler's suggestion, "What about the VA clinic? It's not a hospital, it's earned," hit home. Frank relented. One visit, to shut you up. The weekend was tense. Sarah caught Frank attempting self-surgery with a whiskey-sterilized kitchen knife, muttering about field hospitals. She confiscated it, her voice breaking. "Dad, we're going tomorrow. Together." Monday's drive to the Columbus VA was silent. Frank's war stories, tales of Jimmy Martinez saving him in Da Nang, a shield against his fear. In the waiting room, surrounded by veterans, Frank relaxed slightly. Joe Williams, a Korean War vet missing a leg, struck up a conversation. "Lost this to frostbite, 'cause I was too proud to admit my feet were frozen." Joe said, "Pride can kill you in peacetime." Frank nodded, the words sinking in. As his name was called, he hesitated, the walk to examination room 3 feeling like a march to judgment. Sarah and Tyler flanked him, ready to catch him. Nurse Linda Chen's gentle questions met Frank's minimization. "Just a sore spot." Sarah snapped. "Tell her about the blood, the smell, how you can't walk." What had Frank's pride cost him? "What's the hardest time you've had to ask for help?" In examination room 3, Frank unlaced his boot, the leather stained dark, laces stiff with dried blood. Tyler helped, their hands shaking as they peeled off the sock, fused the foot with blood and decay. The stench hit like a wave, staggering everyone. Beneath was a crater of necrotic tissue, half the sole rotted, black and oozing, exposing bone and tendon. Dr. Harrison's professional mask cracked. "Dear God." He hit the emergency button. "Cold blue room 3. Surgical consult. Now." The wound, ignored for 6 months, was septic, life-threatening. "Amputation's a possibility," he warned, rushing Frank to the oar. As they wheeled him away, Frank grabbed Tyler's hand. "If I don't make it, I'm proud of you. Don't be stubborn like me." The 12-hour surgery removed extensive dead tissue, saving the foot, but secondary infection triggered septic shock. In the ICU, Frank hovered near death, machines breathing for him. Sarah, Tyler, and Mrs. Patterson kept vigil, joined by Michael Jr., who flew in from California, guilt-ridden. Sarah blamed herself. "I'm a nurse. I should have forced him." Tyler offered his college fund to cover mounting bills. Revelations unfolded. Dr. Harrison discovered Frank had known about his diabetes for 12 years, skipping insulin to fund Margaret's cancer treatment. "I couldn't take money from her," Frank admitted, ashamed. Harrison revealed VA benefits for Agent Orange-related diabetes. Free care Frank never claimed. Mrs. Patterson, tearful, produced intercepted VA letters, stolen by her bitter husband, Harold, jealous of Frank's resilience. "I found them in his desk," she confessed. Frank, calm despite the betrayal, forgave her. Anger is its own sickness. Against odds, Frank stabilized on day 4, his fever breaking. His recovery sparked purpose. He joined Dr. Harrison's VA study, launching the Millbrook Veterans Health Circle, helping 43 veterans access benefits. catching 18 diabetes cases, and preventing 3 emergencies. He found love with Dorothy Schneider, a widow met in recovery, and moved to a senior community near Sarah. A year later, at their wedding in the Millbrook Community Center, Frank spoke. "I almost died from pride. Asking for help saved me and others." Sarah pursued a VA nurse practitioner role. Tyler chose pre-med. Michael Jr. funded the program with a $50,000 donation. What health issue are you putting off? Share your story. It could save a life. Frank Thompson's journey from a festering wound to a movement that saved dozens of veterans is a testament to the power of vulnerability. His pride nearly cost him his life, but his humility, born in a sterile VA room, lit a path for others. The Millbrook Veterans Health Circle, his love with Dorothy, and his family's renewed bond prove that our darkest moments can spark lasting change. Frank's story isn't just about one man. It's about everyone who said, "I'm fine," when they weren't. His transformation from isolation to advocacy shows that courage isn't standing alone. It's reaching out. Like candles sharing flame, his story grows brighter when told. What's stopping you from asking for help? Who needs to hear the story? Comment with your thoughts and city. Let's keep Frank's light alive.